Hey everybody, it's Amy Colvin here, and I am coming to you from live and outside in this beautiful spring weather known as rain, or drizzle really, in Northwest Washington. If you happen to see me trying to do this video before, I was doing it inside and there just wasn't a great connection, so it was pretty garbly, so I thought I would redo it. And that's one of the things I really love about working with compassion and self-acceptance is the fact that we're all human and we all make mistakes, and rather than beating yourself up over it, you just go, meh, all right, that didn't work, let's go try something else. So anyway, that's one of the joys of doing Facebook Live, is it's just like, what it is what it is, and I hope you'll join me for some of it. So anyway, here I am, Amy Colvin, and I am going to be reading to you a little bit from Cultivating Compassion, the book I launched last fall. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because it's spring, as you can so clearly see. And spring for me is a really great time to think about new growth, the concept of cultivation. We are growing, we are doing something, and in this case we're working with positive mindset. We're working with ways to be more comfortable in our skin. So let's go ahead and flip open to a random page. Day 28, comparing to others. So what it says is, don't compare yourself to others. Know you are enough. Hey, look, there's a bunch of traffic going on behind me. I love it. Have you heard of impostor syndrome, a term coined in 1978 by clinical psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes? It's when you feel like you're a fraud in the face of your peers because you have not yet internalized your successes. An astonishingly large number of people in the United States, and I would bet worldwide, experience imposter syndrome at one time or another. I was working with a group in a high-performance corporate setting, and the question was asked, how many of you have experienced imposter syndrome at least once in your life? And every hand in the room went up. Wow. From my perspective, these were some of the best and brightest minds out there, and they felt like frauds. Those raised hands highlight the tremendous value of being comfortable in our own skin. Internally acknowledge and appreciate your accomplishments without comparison to others. It doesn't matter what the person next to you has done. What matters is what you have done. No matter how big or how small, you have done it, and be proud of yourself. It takes practice to reframe your thinking, and it takes diligence to develop a new mindset. It takes resilience to develop self-acceptance. It's your choice. Embrace yourself for all you have done and all you will do. So the question for self-reflection that goes with this chapter is as follows. How do I describe the difference between self-acceptance and self-esteem? So that's a good one to think about a little further on, and we can talk about that a little bit too in just a minute. And then the informal practice is, today I will celebrate my successes without concern for what anyone else thinks of me or those successes. So let's go back to that idea between self-acceptance and self-esteem for a minute. And just think for a second if you come up with any ideas. I mean, that's one of the things that we talk about in the classes that I teach. I teach multi-week classes online, and I teach weekend classes in person. And that is one of the topics during one of the modules. And the way I look at it, and some other experts out there look at it, is that idea of self-esteem is often so driven by what other people think of you, as opposed to being driven by what you think of yourself. Whereas self-acceptance really wraps all of that into how you look at the world, how you look at things for yourself. And so that's why I think cultivating self-acceptance is so much more valuable than cultivating self-esteem, because ultimately self-esteem is still external facing. It's not internal facing. And that's really where this whole idea of imposter syndrome comes from. It comes from the greater concern of what someone else thinks of you than what you think of yourself. And it was pretty funny because I actually had been in another instance where I was helping out a friend video record an icebreaker for groups getting together. And it was called Step Inside the Circle. And I thought it's a fabulous exercise, and I really like to use it in general anyway. And the concept is that you've got a group of people, and then you ask basic questions. You know, how many of you have lived in more than one state? How many of you have a dog or a cat or a pet of some sort? And then those that it's true for, they step into the circle. So it's a way of getting to know each other a little bit, and it's also a really great way to build that sense of common humanity. And so she had gone through a handful of questions, and then she opened it up to the people in the group that were helping her out and said, do any of you have any questions that you want to ask? And one person said, yeah. So the question that person asked is, how many of you have experienced imposter syndrome? And every single person walked into the circle, and it was just fascinating to see that at any given time, all of us have those moments. And in that time, in that context, I didn't feel imposter syndrome that strongly. But one of the interesting things about writing this book and starting to promote it and branching out into more business on my own is there is that thing that still hits me sometimes. It's like, oh my gosh, am I really good enough for this? You know, is anybody really going to want to listen to what I have to say? So we all go through that, and ultimately tying it back to how you feel about yourself is the most important thing. And it's far more important than what, you know, Mary Jo or Bobby, you know, John think of you. So keep that in mind as you move forward into your day and as you move forward into personal growth. So thanks for listening today. One of the things I would love for you to do, if you are enjoying these messages, please like them, please love them, and please share. Because ultimately, what I'm trying to do here is just build some momentum around the idea of spreading positive news, helping people move into a place of positive growth. And hey, you know, and I wish I could see who's out there. I see somebody's watching me, but I can't tell who it is. And thank you so much for those thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And anyway, have a fantastic Sunday. I think moving forward, I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent about time of day that I do these, just to help people know that they can tune in. And so I'm randomly deciding that 4:30 Pacific time is when I'm going to try to make this happen over the next few days. So have a great Sunday. If you're interested in having more conversations like this, I'm going to drop a link in the comments section about a new program I'm offering, and you can check it out, where we'll have small group opportunities to have conversations like this together. But meanwhile, I'm going to get out of the rain. I don't know how rainy my video camera is at the moment, but I'll talk to you later. Have a fantastic afternoon. Bye-bye.